Okay, thank you for watching Eating Patterns. Okay, on this is myself, Paul Donovan. I'm the producer and co-writer. Jeff, Lex, co-writers. Okay, we're going to talk to you, bring the camera back here. I'm going to talk to you first about, first of all describe it. We're going to talk about the show. We're going to tell you about the actors. We're going to tell you about how we brought Brian Downey as Stan, Eva Haberman as Zev, and Michael McManus as Kai into the whole fold. But first of all, I'll tell you about Rainer Matsutani. He's the director. He's half German, half Japanese. I think he's the only one.
Probably not too many Axis directors left these days, but he's at the top of the list. If he had a little Italian blood in him. But
there you go.
He likes Italian food, so I guess all the bases
pretty much
are
the same
covered.
thing.
Yeah. Okay, so he's
generally
very
soft-spoken, but a temper that would flash up every once in a while, you know, and then be a bit of Achtung, you know. I'm on the set, and that was.
Ruhe bitte, Ruhe bitte.
Yeah.
That means quiet, please. Ruhe bitte.
Ruhe bitte, Ruhe bitte. You know, and it's when that's the great thing about a German director. They can bark out command, boy, like.
Really.
But we're not, you know, obviously, but some of our very best friends are German.
And this is a Canadian-German co-production.
Well, exactly.
And we
hands
shot
across
it
the
over.
ocean. Hands across the ocean.
Absolutely.
That's important.
Oh yeah,
Reiner, yeah, is in episode 2, Supernova, which you may or may not have seen, but
You should have seen Run Up Rent.
there's a segment of a memory where he's wearing a Brunengee wig like Kai does, and he's
awarding a medal.
Awarding a medal, yes, to you, Kratos.
He's probably been revoiced. Sorry, Reiner, we love you. You're cute as a button.
It's a great performance.
Yeah,
you can tell
terrific.
why he stays behind
Okay,
the camera.
enough on Reiner. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to tell you about Brian Downey as Stan. See, if you saw the original promo, which is at the end of picture 1 in the filler material, there's Brian Downey. And I had worked with Brian Downey in a number of films. He's from this place called Newfoundland. Newfoundland is this very poor, windswept rock sitting off the east coast of Canada.
Harp seal clubbing capital of the world.
Harp seal clubbing.
Very inbred, too, I think.
Yeah.
It's
Okay, and they're a little bit sexually licentious, but in Newfoundland, they are wonderful people. That's the one thing they got going for them. And they have an odd number of fairly good actors. And there's no explaining that in good musicians. There's some kind of thing, and maybe it has to do with being on an island. But so Brian was sort of living the life of a poor actor in Newfoundland, and also going to British Columbia from time to time when he actually wanted to live like an actor who got paid, as opposed to community theater in the rain. And I just knew he was a guy with talent. But in Canada or in the U.S., no one ever discovered him because he didn't live in Los Angeles. And so we kind of thought that he had to be the perfect Stan. So he became the Stan of our show. But what we didn't realize is that he is Stan.
Ah, jeez! Man. Dandruff's bad here.
What's that on your shoulder?
Dandruff. Dandruff, too.
What was that on your shoulder?
What was it on my shoulder? And your name is... this is it's a feeding tube for a very large baby. And this would be the nipple. And this is where the pablum comes out. And no, wait now. Vacuum cleaner. It's a vacuum cleaner. What could it be? It could be almost anything. But in fact, it's a feeding tube in the galley of the Lexx, the most powerful destructive force Salter Street ever created. Salter Street is going to rip the world apart, man. And with my character, it's Stanley H. Tweeter. Don't mess with me. I will betray you. It's a difficult character in some ways to describe because the composite is, it's sort of like, you ever walk on a beach? And you know, like you come to this part where like there's all kinds of old shells and rocks and a couple of tires and, you know, things like that, seaweed. You know, that's sort of what Stanley Tweedle's character is like. It's a difficult composite. It's sort of, I don't know, Charlie Chaplin, but not quite as clownish, like Benedict Arnold, but not quite as traitorous. Stanley Tweedle is one of the drivers of the plot. The plot's a beautiful car. It's a German-made car. He drives the plot in part simply because he just wants to escape turmoil, and he really wants to get laid. This guy is in serious need of a good ballin'. He hasn't had any in 8 years. and then he had to buy it. And he came too soon, so the cluster is... I know, and I need you... Oh, you mean for something... Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, jeez. I can't bring a camera.
No, he's great.
Yeah, he's a terrific guy.
He is Stan Tweedle.
Yeah.
You know, in fact, if this show ever goes tits up, he'll get a job as a security guard probably.
So Stanley Tweedle is Charlie Chaplin lost in space. In spite of him doing all the wrong things for all the wrong reasons, somehow in the end, you know, he's absolved. It's a really interesting character because it has, as like a lot of stuff, and not that I'm comparing, you know, this directly in any way, shape, or form to Charlie Chaplin or what he did. There's something of the element of every man. I mean, every man has, you know, some hero, some coward. And this character has elements of that, plus desperate need to escape all the time.
7-1 guide.
Michael McManus.
Well, you should really, because you know him from like...
I don't like to talk about that, though. Mike McManus is well, he was sort of he's one of these artistes, right? That's why we don't, one of the reasons why Kai is not a man of many words, because if you let Michael go on for any length of time...
Which you'll see some of him talking coming up.
Exactly. I mean, it's this stream of, you know, artistically pretentious gobbledygook that really doesn't make any sense at all.
This, to me, this stuff is, it's a kind of, it's in the realm of the lyrical satire. I think it's got a really, there's some beautiful things like people flying semi-organic planes, like insects and dragonflies, and the Lexx is like an overblown dragonfly. And my character comes from a very romantic culture that's still lingering somewhere there in the background of the civilization. And then the idea of the satire, the parodies that each visit to every planet, ultimately, when we start visiting planets and things, human characteristics are kind of sent up and made fun of, like in Gulliver's Travels or something like that. So it takes place in space and it takes place in the future, but I think it's attacking things that we're familiar with. Dead, yeah, I'm dead. Dead, and in fact, I'm dead alive, and there's one whole movie, one of these movies, where one of the big issues is whether I'm dead, or dead alive. I'm in my cryogenic tank to try and wake me up. I don't wake up, and so they decide I'm dead, so they bury me, and they have a little service on the planet Plagia, and it turns out that I'm not dead, and the spew from some parasites on the planet, they're spewing on me, and it heats me up, and I get to wake up and come back and save the day just in time. Or sort of save the day. My character never quite saves the day. He sort of draws all the fire onto himself, and he gets chunked up into bits, and his limbs get cut off, and then Stanley Tweedle, the sort of anti-hero of the piece, he just pushes some button and vanquishes the enemy, just like that. But I draw the heavy fire to sort of shock through. But I think the fantastic quality of the setting and the piece and everything comes from people's childhood, children who never quite grow up. You know, and I think that's, that sounds actually, sound like an asshole when I say that, but I mean it.